Do you know that Excel has a built-in GPS? Or we can use emojis with Excel charts? Or there is a powerful feature of Excel that can help you get bird's eye view of your workbook? In this video, let's uncover 50 of the most amazing time-saving features of Microsoft Excel. 50 is a lot, so I broke this video into 5 segments. General usage of Excel, working with your data, writing formulas, creating pivot tables, and making Excel charts. Let's go. Let's start by opening Excel. The first trick is, let's say you have got some files here and you want to take one of these files and make a copy of that. You can just right click on the file here and then say open a copy. This is going to create a new workbook with all your formulas and data and everything. You can make changes and save it as you want. You may have noticed that in my Excel I have got some quick tools on the top. This area is called quick access toolbar and you can add other things to it quite easily. Let's say you often format data in percentages. You can right click on the percentage thing and then say add to quick access toolbar. That will be added there. One of the cool things with items on the QAT or quick access toolbar is if you hold down the Alt key, you can see that all of the buttons that you add there get their own shortcuts. So for example, if I press Alt 5, I can directly trigger the filter buttons right away. But you can also move it from above or below. To do that, right click on the quick access toolbar and select show QAT below the ribbon. Do you notice that if you type few months, let's just say Jan and Feb, and when you drag this down, you will get all the months of the year automatically. This thing is called custom lists. And let's just say you have got a list of products and you always type them manually. You can create a custom list for your own products. For example, here are my awesome chocolate products and I don't want to type them every time. So what we can do is go to File, Options, Advanced, and edit the custom lists. And you can use the import from cells option. So place your cursor here and then select all your products and import them. So now you have got a new list with all your products. Click OK, and either in this file or the new file, you just have to type the first few items and drag this down and Excel will give you all the products. Do you know that Excel has a built-in GPS in it? That's right. Any cell you select, you can see the address of the cell in the corner in the name box. So wherever you are, Excel is always telling you your address. But there is a second purpose to this name box. You can also use this to go to somewhere else. So let's say we are on J5 and we would like to go up to AB230. So type that address and hit enter and boom, you will instantly go to that location. This next one is really cool. Let's say you have got a list of items, but you don't want to copy all of them. You just want to copy a few and then paste them elsewhere, either in this sheet or in a new workbook. So from home, click on this little corner thingy here and expand out the clipboard. And you can select the item that you want to copy, Control C to copy it, and you'll see that item appear here. Control C on the second item, third item, fourth item. Now to paste the data, go to the separate sheet, select the cells and then hit paste all. It will paste in the order you copy, so the bottommost one will be pasted up top. Here is an awesome time-saving trick. If you go to the file menu and you notice that every day you open this particular file, you can actually pin this. So if you tap on this pin button, that file is pinned now. So now anytime you go to the open, you will see that particular one available to you right up there without having to look through all the list of files. You may notice that when I open a new Excel file, I only get one sheet by default. I don't really like to have 3 sheets because I'm not doing that much Excel work. So how do I set this to one sheet? This is really simple. Go to File, Options, and from General, you can see that I have got this to just one sheet. By default, it would be 3, but I set this to 1. While you are here, you may want to also adjust the body font size. I like to have my text a little bigger, so I set this to 14 points. Do you know that Excel has different color themes? Right now I'm using a colorful theme, but if you want, you can go to the File menu, Account, and then from here you have got the Office theme option. You can change it from colorful to, for example, black. That will give you a dark mode, especially if you work in a darker room or in the evenings. This is super helpful. Or you can go to dark gray or use the colorful option. This last one is my favorite when it comes to getting things done faster in Excel. You don't need to memorize all the hundreds of shortcuts in Excel. Instead, just memorize this one shortcut. Hold down the Alt key briefly and Excel will show you all the shortcuts on the screen. So for example, here it is telling me that if I press now N, I'll go to the insert ribbon. At that point, it's going to show me the other shortcuts in the insert ribbon. This is way better than memorizing all the shortcuts in Excel. These next set of tricks talk about working with the data in Excel. So here I have got some data and I just want to see my top 10 items. I don't want to see all of these. Here is a simple shortcut. Just go to the filter button here, number filters and top 10. Just hit OK and you will see the top 10 items quickly. The second one is sorting by more than one column. You probably already know that you can sort by any individual column. But what I want is for each person, I want the amounts to be sorted in the descending order. So to do this, go to sort and filter, custom sort. And here we already have salesperson A to Z. Now I'm adding the second level, which is sales largest to smallest, and hit OK. And now for each of them, I'll see their amounts going down in that order. This third one is super helpful. Let's say you're working on an Excel workbook and you would like to insert a screenshot of something else into Excel. You just have to go to the insert ribbon and then go to screenshot button here, and it will show you all the other files or windows that are currently open, and you can insert a screenshot of any of them. For example, here is a screenshot of my Windows Explorer in Excel. You might think, Chandoo, when would I really use this? Well, while you normally don't insert screenshots into Excel, if you have got a presentation to make and you would like to add a screenshot of a report or a graph into PowerPoint directly, you can use the same thing here as well. Go to insert and you will have screenshot here. If you tap on that, you will see all the open windows here and you can insert a screenshot of Excel directly into PowerPoint. Works with Word as well. This next one is fun. Let's say you're looking at some values, but you don't want to see certain numbers in the data. You can make them invisible. Normally what people do is they select that and make them white color. But there is a better way to do this. Because even if it is white, if I fill a color in there, I can see it. To make things invisible in Excel, just select the cells that you want to hide, for example, all of these guys, and then go to Format Cells. From the current formatting, go to Custom and delete everything that is here and type 3 semicolons. That's the secret password. And when you click OK, those values will be gone. Of course, the numbers are still there. So when you select them, you can see how much is the count or what the value is in the formula bar, but they're not visible on the screen. Do you know that you can rotate the values in a cell? So right now, these are all horizontal, but you can make them slanted like this. And if the cell has a fill color, even that color gets slanted by 45 degrees. This next one is super handy when you're working with mixed data like this. Let's say you have got some data like this and you just want to grab all the numbers. So select the data and then hit F5 and click on the special. This opens the go to special screen. And from here, tap on constants and uncheck everything else except numbers here. Now when you hit OK, Excel is going to highlight all the number values. At this point, you can Ctrl C to copy those values and Ctrl V to paste them elsewhere. Let's say you're looking at the headers, but you would like to have a new line between sales and person. Just edit the cell, place the cursor where you want the new line and hit Alt Enter. That makes the line into 2 lines. Make sure you enabled wrap text, otherwise Excel is not going to show that in 2 lines. This next one is a fun trick with the find feature of Excel. Let's say you're looking at this data and your boss wants you to highlight all the 600 in yellow color. And you don't want to write any formulas or conditional formatting for that. Just select the data and click on Control F to open the find replace. Type what you want to find. So in this case 600, and then instead of clicking find next, click on find all. This is going to find all the 600s in your data and list them here. It actually found some 1600s too, but let's just go with everything. So now if you hold down the shift, you can select all of these values. At this point, you can close away the find box and you will end up with highlighting all the 600s and 1600s. And just fill the color onto those cells and done. Let's say you are looking at a file that your colleague made, this dashboard for example, and you just want to understand quickly what is in this file, what sort of data is there, what calculations are there, what graphs are there, everything at a glance. Do you know that you can go to the view ribbon and click on the navigation button to see the internal structure of this workbook? It's gonna give you a tree-like view with all the items on this file. So it's giving you all the 4 worksheets. Right now we are on the dashboard worksheet, and then it tells you what shapes are there, what ranges are there, what charts are there. If I click on a chart, I'll see that highlighted. I can see what pivot tables are there. For example, there is a pivot table 3, and when I click on that, I'll immediately go to that thing. Really helpful to understand complex workbooks that get shared in team environments. This next one is one of my favorite new features to be added in Excel. Let's say you want to grab some data from a picture. So here I have got a picture. I selected this picture and copied it to my clipboard, Control C. Now I'll come back to Excel. I don't want the picture here. I want to grab all the data in that picture here. So I can go to the data ribbon, and here I have got from picture option, and then I can choose the play picture from clipboard thing. Alternatively, if you have got the file on your computer, you can also use the file option. So let's click on that. Excel is going to analyze the picture and tell you all the data in that picture. I'm going to insert it here. It's saying some warnings, but let's just see what is there. So here is what the picture is telling me. Out of 1.4 million views my channel got recently, this doesn't make any sense. 75% are not from subscribers. Really disappointing. That reminds me, if you're watching this video and enjoying it, consider subscribing to my channel. That way, you get to know whenever I put new videos, as well as you get to enjoy more of my content. Thank you. These next 10 things are about formulas in Excel. Do you know that Excel formulas can now return more than one value? That's right. For example, there is a new function in Excel called take. It will take a list or a table of values. So here I'm asking take data sales column and then give me the top 10 values, the first 10 rows of data. And when you hit enter, because there are 10 values, Excel is going to return all the 10 in one go. This behavior is called formula spilling, and we can use that to build some really cool and amazing calculations in Excel. I got other videos on the channel that talk more about this. Here is a fun trick. Here I have got a sum formula that adds up the first 3 days worth of data. When my boss saw this, he wanted me to change this to look at first 6 days, not the 3 days. Normally, you would need to change the formula. But do you know that when you are editing the formula, you'll see the blue boxes for the ranges that you're working with. So here is my range, and I can just point my mouse pointer at the corner and drag this to adjust the range. When you let go and hit enter, you will see the updated result of your formula here. Whenever you are writing a formula, Excel shows this little tooltip. Sometimes it can get in the way of things. Do you know that you can place your mouse on that and then just move it away? This next function is super helpful. Excel now has a function to remove duplicate items from your data. For example, here I have got all the products, but you can see that many of the names have repeated. And I just want to extract all the product names. We can use the unique function, unique, and then select the data, hit enter, and we'll get one row per each product. You can send this unique function to the sort function to see the products in alphabetical order. Okay, if you think these things in Excel are awesome, you are going to be blown with this next one. Now, Excel formulas can return images. So here I have got 3 images. The key is when you insert an image, you need to set it in the cell. So every time you insert an image now, you will have an option to place it in the cell or over the cell. So let's bring an image. Here is the image of my company logo. And I can select this image and you'll see this little button next to it. And if you tap on that, it goes and sits in a cell. Now you might think, what's the novelty of this? The thing is, this image is actually in the cell. So if I go somewhere else and then say equal to and point to the cell with the image, see what happens. I'll get that image here in this other cell. How awesome is this? Again, you might think, still novelty feature. When would I use this? So let me show you. Here I've got 3 images and each of them has a code. Now if I want to search for number 2, I can use XLOOKUP function, look up 2 in the code column and then get the image column as a result. XLOOKUP will look for number 2 and then get you the mind-blown image as the result. It's all dynamic, so if I change this to 1, I'll get the finger. If I change this to 3, I'll get Excel. And if I change this to 4, I get a like symbol. That reminds me, if you're enjoying this, give this video a like. Let's say you want to know what formula is in this cell, but you want to also show that in a different cell as text value. You can use the Formulatext function and point to the cell that contains the formula, and then you can see the formula that is used in the cell above like that. Do you know that when you are looking at complex Excel workbooks, you can calculate in between results using a simple shortcut? For example, here I have got a really simple business calculation workbook and it calculates our profit as 5,960. I just want to verify some of these calculations. So I'll go to something like, let's just say total costs. I see that it adds up these values. I want to double check what that number would be. I can select that and press Ctrl equal to or F9 to see the actual result of that sum formula right there. In fact, you don't even need to do that. When you select a formula, Excel actually shows you a tooltip now with the in-between result. We can use that to debug or audit different workbooks very quickly. Now let's take this to the next level. You have built this and your boss asks you, how many units we need to sell if we want $8,000 profit? You don't need to go and figure it out yourself. You can select the cell that you want to set to 8,000 and then go to Data, What If Analysis, goalseek. This is a powerful feature in Excel that can calculate the input value that you want. So for example, we want to set the C19 cell to 8,000 by changing the number of units sold. When you click OK, Excel will simulate all the values and then it comes up with the answer. If you sell 5,020 units, you will make $8,000 profit. This next one requires using a browser. Do you know that if you type Excel.new, you can create a new Excel workbook in your browser? It will ask you to log into your Microsoft account and creates a brand new Excel file for you online. This is super helpful, especially when you are on the go or when you are on a device like a tablet and you want to make an Excel file. These next ones are about pivot tables. Do you know that when you are looking at a value in the pivot table like this 202,000 value, and if you want to see what data points add up to that, if you just double click, Excel will show you all the data points. Sometimes we don't know what pivots we want. If you select your data and then go to Insert, Excel now has a recommended pivots option. And if you tap on that, Excel is going to generate the pivot tables from your data. Whichever pivot you like, you can just say insert it into a new sheet. Let's say you like this pivot, but you would like to see one of these names up top. Do you know that you can select the item and then drag and drop it wherever you want? That will move the values up there. Here is a pivot of country-wise sales by dates. But sometimes people don't like these minus and plus buttons. You can easily hide them by going to the pivot table analyze ribbon and toggling this plus minus button. Let's say you create this pivot, but your boss says, I don't want to see it like this. I want to have one pivot table for each country with all the daily values. You can quickly do that by taking the region and putting it into the report filter area here. And now, if you go to pivot table analyze ribbon options and click on show report filter pages, select the region and click OK. Excel is going to generate all the individual country level pivots for you automatically. Another trick is, instead of using the report filter, you can take it out and then right click on the region and add it as a slicer. This offers a fun way to see the report updated based on which country you want. You just tap on the country and the report updates. You can single select or you can hold down Control to multi-select different countries. Imagine you are building a pivot table from a really large data set. You might end up having a lot of fields in this fields area. Do you know that you can actually change the order in which they appear? Instead of the data source order, if you put it in sorted order, you can quickly find the fields that you want for your analysis. Do you know that we can calculate distinct counts with Excel pivot tables? It's really simple. Just select your data, insert a pivot table, and make sure to add the data to the data model. And now you can select a salesperson and you can see how many distinct products they have sold by dropping the product into values area. Initially it will count, but you can right click on the number and then go to summarize and select a distinct count. Another advantage of using the data model pivot is you can also calculate median values easily. Normally with pivot tables, if I put something like sales, I can either sum it, or if I right click, I can average it. If I go to more options, even then I don't find median value at all. But because we are using the data model option, you can right click on the table and add a measure and create median sales and use the median of data sales. That will add the measure median sales, and when you put that into a pivot table, you can see how the median sales are for each of our salespeople. Here is a power tip to speed up when you are working with pivot tables. Go to File, Options, Data, and then from here you can actually edit the default layout of Excel pivot tables. Here you can specify how you would like your pivot tables. For example, I don't like to see subtotals, I don't mind the grand totals, and I would like to use the compact form. You can also customize the default options of pivot tables. I don't like pivot table to auto-fit columns, so I uncheck this, and you can adjust many of the other things and set that to the memory. This way, every time you make a pivot table, Excel will apply these default settings for you and saves you heaps of time. Okay, these last 10 are about Excel charts. Do you know that when you have an Excel chart, you can hide an element of the chart using that filter button? For example, let's say we don't want to see the spicy special slims for a presentation. You can use this and uncheck the product that you don't want to see and apply, and that's gone from the chart. It is still in your data but not shown on the chart. Another way to filter Excel charts is if you apply filters on the main data. For example, if we go here and uncheck this and this product, they will also go away from the chart. If you don't want that to happen, you can right click on the chart, go to select data, hidden and empty cells, and then check the show data in hidden rows and columns option. With that, Excel won't pay attention to the filtering on the screen and always shows the data in the chart. One simple way to enhance your charts is by giving them a good title. But you don't want to type the title manually. Do you know that you can select the title on the Excel chart, click on the formula bar, say equal to, and point to a cell that has the title that you want. And when you hit enter, your title is now linked to the cell. This way, if you change your mind or you want to say a different title, then that's what your chart will say. Another cool way to enhance your charts is to introduce a little bit of emoji. For example, every time the sales are above 9,000, we would like to celebrate. So we can have an emoji column right next to the data and use a simple if formula. If sales value is greater than 9,000, Open the double quotes and use the Windows and dot keys together to bring up the emoji keypad. Let's put a smiley symbol when the sales are more than 9,000. Else, let's put a crying emoji. I know it looks a bit dramatic. And now you have the emoji in the cell. Next up, select the data labels on your chart, right click to format them, and use the value from cells option and link up the emojis as well. Click OK and you can see the emoji already showing up. We are going to bring all of this outside and use a new line and change the color. Now all the products that have more than 9,000 are smiling, whereas the ones below 9,000 have that little crying emoji. Sometimes you have a lot of data and if you try to make a chart from it, it will look really busy. Here is a simple trick. You can actually make a chart in the cell itself. Just select the cells where you want the charts and then go to Insert, Sparkline, and then point to your data range. Click OK and you will get the individual trends of the products right in the cell. You can customize the sparklines from the sparkline ribbon. Another cool way to enhance your charts is to use images. For example, here I have got a chart for our product Spicy Special Slim, and instead of the bar, I want to use this little chili image. Copy the image, Ctrl C, select the bars and Ctrl V. Initially, the image gets pasted and looks a bit stretched out. Right click to format this series and go to the fill options, and instead of stretch, use the stack and scale with option and specify how big each chili needs to be. Let's go with 2000 and here is a nice little image chart. Do you know that you can easily apply conditional formatting on charts? For example, here is a trend of the customers that we added or lost in the first 10 days of August. And I would like to see the negative values in red color and positive values in green color. Just select the columns and go to the fill options and use the invert if negative button. Change the color and then it will give you a different color for negative values. So the negative will be, let's just say, this color, and you now have two colors, one for positive and one for negative. All of this is beautifully linked to the data. So for example, 3rd of August is not -1. There was an accounting error and it's actually 12. Instantly it will become green and show up on the positive side. Many times when you want to make a chart, you might have two different kind of values. So you have got sales and units. And if you try to make a single chart from that, it won't look so good. But you can easily combine items to create a combo chart in Excel. Just select the data, go to Insert, and instead of these charts, use the last one here and make a combo chart. As the units are too small, I'm going to select the units line, right click and then say change series chart type and use this on the secondary axis. So now I can see sales and unit trend clearly in one chart. Let us say you make this chart, but your boss says, let's not use the July values because the accounting for that is not done yet. You can easily adjust the chart source data by selecting the chart, and then you will see these blue or red color rectangles around the range of the data. As we don't want to see the July values, I'm just going to place my cursor here and adjust this size down to just up to June. Let go and your chart gets adjusted automatically. You can use the same technique to point to a different range of cells or make it bigger. Sometimes we don't know what chart to make from our data. You can just select your data and then go to Insert and use the recommended chart option in Excel so that Excel can actually suggest the charts for you. Here it tells me that I can use pivot charts for this, or I can also use a Pareto chart or a histogram to understand my sales values. Whatever you like, you can click on that and say OK, and such a chart will be created for you automatically by Excel. Like I said at the start, 50 is a lot. So thank you so much for watching until the end. Here is a bonus trick for you. Do you know that I also have a free newsletter? That's right. Once a week, I send an email with some amazing Excel/Power BI tips. Did I mention it is free? You can get the newsletter by signing up using the link below. Check it out. Bye.